Hey, how you doing, people? My name is Al. I have a mobile mechanic service here in Illinois. Um, I've been a mechanic since where I started being a mechanic when I was 17 years old. But I want to get into what inspired me to be a mechanic. I think I was like 14 years old. My mother and her husband had bought a vehicle. It wasn't the best of cars, but anyway, we got stranded downtown in Chicago. We got stranded like in the middle of the street. Cars were blowing and going around and everything. Eventually, we got out and we pushed the car over to the side and everything. We were sitting there. And we kept trying to start the vehicle, and we eventually ran the battery down and everything. So her husband calls a guy. His name was Phil. His name was Phil Baker. He comes in his van, and it doesn't even take him 10 minutes. He gets the car started. We're on our way. That's it. And this thing happened like more than once. I would say about 5 times that we've got stranded in this car the same way. The car was just a regular car, to be honest. If it wasn't one thing, it was another thing breaking down. It wasn't that Phil's ability to be a mechanic was declining. It was the thing that the car was actually declining. That's the truth of the matter. Uh, anyway, I got sick of seeing my mom. The look on her face when we would get stranded. I mean, we'll be listening to the radio or something, and next thing you know, boom, the car's just rolling, and the radio goes down. I never paid attention who turned the radio down, but the radio turns down, and we're somewhere stranded. I mean, I got sick of that, so I grew up. Uh, I started helping the guy Phil do mechanic work to earn a little money and stuff on the side. And while I was helping him, I started learning mechanic work, and it just got real interesting to me. So I picked up the skill real quick. It was quite easy, to be honest. I mean, other than the fact of being safe, using jack stands and not jacking the car, rolling, getting under the car with the car up on the jack. That's the most dangerous thing that you want to do. Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't want to do that. Don't do that. Okay. Anyway, I would say for like about a couple years went by, maybe about 3, 4 years or something went by. I was with Phil, and I would notice, he would make a lot of money. I made a lot of money too, and I kind of got to the point where I wanted to get certified, so I ended up going to school for it. I went to Lincoln Tech in Melrose Park. Um, I was a good student and everything. I did everything that I was supposed to done and everything. I went there with the expectations that once I passed and everything, I'll be landing a good job, at least making $25 to $30 an hour. But while I was in the school, I mean, my introductory teacher, he made it quite clear. He said that when you graduate here, when you graduate this school, you're not going to be an expert. The reason why he said that is because he had asked the question before that statement. He had said, how many students here already know something about being a mechanic? They already know about how to fix cars, but you're just here for your certification. Almost everybody in the classroom raised their hand, including me. Maybe 2 or 3 guys didn't raise their hand. Uh, he's like, well, I want to let you in on something. When you graduate here from Lincoln Technical Institute, you're going to only be, quote unquote, what they call introductory mechanic. So even if you land a job at a large dealership, you're not going to be fixing them cars. I mean, yeah, yes, you're a mechanic, but they're going to first start you out. You're going to be cleaning the floors. You're going to be mopping the floors. You're going to be cleaning up oil spills, things like that. You're going to be organizing the tools, things like that. I know this for a fact because it happened to me. That's some of the things you're going to be doing. Some other things you're going to be learning how to do, believe it or not, is learning to keep your shirt tucked in and keep it clean. despite you uh, organizing tools and everything, you sometimes you tend to wipe your hands across your shirt. That's one thing that the dealerships are known for, is being clean. Okay, there, when I had that job, I only made like $15 an hour. I mean, like, I was very depressed, very depressed. Some people, they may be fine with $15 an hour, but my whole college career cost me $26,000. Okay, I didn't. Of course, I didn't pay that out of pocket. If I had money to pay for the school, which cost $26,000, I wouldn't even went to the school in the beginning. I would have probably invested that in a shop, something, something like that. Anyway, um, I went through all of this stuff. Okay, um, I didn't last long at that job. I mean, it was a nightmare, to be honest. It was a nightmare. Some people, you may disagree, but me, honestly, I mean, I just didn't like it. I mean, you got a guy telling you what to do, how to do it. I mean, I'm looking over at these technicians. I mean, I know more than them. I mean, I'm looking at a guy do some ridiculous crap. Maybe he was trying to just, I don't know, maybe he was just adding up the hours to make the customer, pay more. I don't know what he was doing, but I mean, the way these guys work, I mean, that's their style and technique of working, or whatever. How I'm not gonna give them a black eye. Okay, this is not what this video is about. This video is basically about what inspired me to be a mechanic, and I had a lot of different kind of jobs out of my skill. I worked at Motorola, a place called Conagra. I mean, I even worked. I did mechanic work with other people that had more clientele than me at the time, because I didn't know how to build that, and that's the reason why I'm starting to make these informative videos, because at some point you're gonna learn how to do everything that I did, but you don't have to go through all the mistakes that I went through. I've been a mechanic for 18 years. I've learned all the mistakes that you probably would go through if you didn't see this video. And matter of fact, if you're watching this video and you have the audacity to watch it all the way from the beginning to the end, I already applaud you already, because it takes to want something, really, to pay attention to somebody. I used to be this guy on the other side of the computer watching somebody else, and it inspired me in another way. And that, with that inspiration, that's why I'm giving you this knowledge. That's why I'm giving it to you, because I feel like you should have it. Somebody out there needs it, and I'm giving it to you. Anyway, for these whole 18 years, I mean, I guess you can call me mechanically inclined, like that. I'm mechanically inclined. I know about wiring system, control system, emission systems. I know how the computer works inside of a vehicle. I know what it does from the beginning, from the point that you even put your key inside the ignition and turn it forward. I know what signals from that computer sending what voltage to what signals, what sensors to get that motor running. I know my stuff. One thing about knowing your stuff is you got to be able to transfer your knowledge into money. That's part of the reason you became a mechanic. And from my 18 years of experience, um, I'm gonna show you what mistakes that I've made and what I did to straighten them out. You know what I mean? Uh, for instance, not believing in myself. I mean, I thought that the certification, I thought the certification would be like almost like a black belt in the industry for me, so I can always, I can land a good job. But it actually wasn't like that. I mean, you coming in somebody's company with just a piece of paper, and now at this point in my life, I understand why they don't pay you the buku bucks uh, that you're thinking about when you first join your school. Why? Because you're only learning theory in school. Only theory. Only theory. In school, we did take a couple walks through the workshop. There were students in the workshop, but I can tell you, there was only a handful of students. This is picked out of like 2, 3 classes. Only a handful of students works in the workshop. I mean, I'm not saying that that's wrong, but To me, everybody needs to be in the workshop, because after you get out of school, where else you gonna go? You're gonna go under somebody's hood, under your hood. They're not teaching you that, but they're teaching you the theory of. I mean, theory is good. Theory is good, you know, but you can learn theory from picking up the same book that the teacher has and just learning from that book. So you're paying $26,000 actually to become certified. Now, I can show you how to get certified legally without even spending $26,000 and going into debt before you even get employment to even pay some of your debt off. This is ridiculous. It's just crazy. Okay? I'm going to show you how to do all this. But the fact of this matter is, there's a whole lot of information that I got to unfold to you, you know, within I'm going to make it as short as possible in my other upcoming videos. But this video was to kind of introduce myself to you, to show you who I am as a person and everything. I mean, I'm not even through. This is not even the tip of the iceberg. When I was 18, my father, he had passed. My father's side of the family, they love Cadillacs. That's all they ever drove was Cadillacs. So his father had a Cadillac. It was a 1987 Cadillac Brougham. It had a V8 in it. At the time when my father passed, the car was it was in the backyard and the motor was bad. I mean, my father's side of the family, I mean, I'm not saying that they didn't take care of the car. They just had so many cars sitting around, nobody really paid attention to it. Anyway, the car got passed down to me. I'm busy trying to get the car fixed and up and running and everything before my father's funeral, and I couldn't do I couldn't achieve that. So that at that point, that's what really made me dive into being a mechanic. Okay, that's what really inspired me. You got to have some kind of inspiration that inspired you to do it in the first place, you know, because you're not just going to wake up and be the best mechanic ever and then start making top dollar for it. It doesn't work like that. But the reason why I'm making this video is to make your experience of you learning to be a better mechanic a little shorter than mine. It took me 18 years to get here. In the upcoming videos of knowledge I'm going to tell you, it took me 18 years to gather all that up. Nobody or me couldn't just sum that up with one experience on a vehicle. It just wasn't going to work. It doesn't work like that, period. Anyway, I want to really, I really want you to look at the reason why you become a mechanic. Sorry. I want you to really look at the reason why you becoming a mechanic. Of course, it's for money and everything. So I mean, it's certain things and certain values and everything that you're gonna have to like prioritize with yourself, as far as your pay and everything like that. Like I said, $15 an hour. That wasn't a lot of money for me. This was back in. This was like a lot of years ago. I mean, it's not a lot of money. I mean, now it's 2017. Some states, this is going to be the mandatory minimum wage, $15 an hour. Okay, so just imagine what the top mechanical tech is getting paid, which I am one of them. Okay, but the thing is, I don't need to work for another company for them to tell me that I'm doing good work and okay, a pat on the back, whatever, however, and maybe soon you'll get a promotion. This video is to show you how to upgrade yourself. So you're giving yourself that promotion. And how do you do that? From the new things you're learning. Because they're constantly making new cars. You're constantly learning new things about cars. Every mechanic doesn't know everything. But if you're smart enough, you will learn how the vehicle works. But there's so many sections under mechanic work. There's so many subsections under mechanic work. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. You can become a professional in any aspect on a vehicle. I mean, let's just name a few. Wiring. A lot of people have wiring issues. I mean, if you've been a mechanic long enough, I've been a mechanic a long time. Okay, I started out being a parts changer. That's what I started out doing. Some people are good at just being parts changers. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. But at some point, you may burn yourself out because you're constantly throwing parts at a problem and you're not really diagnosing it. See, with every part, there's always a little wire that goes to it. You know this, especially with the new cars today. Sometimes that wire deteriorates. You got to know how to test that wire, test the continuity in that wire, how much voltage is supposed to be going through that wire. What kind of signal is that wire supposed to be sending? What is it doing? Okay, that's just one aspect. You got the suspension. That's a whole nother aspect. You got different kind of suspensions. You got magnetic suspension, air suspension, passive suspension. That's another category. You got the fuel system. You got that. And you got the emission system of a car. People have to get their emissions test every year. Every year, everybody needs an emission test, including me. You need an emissions test. You need a smog test. People fail those tests because of wiring issues, because of solenoid issues, Cadillac converter, all kind of stuff. I'm giving you just examples. You got the charging system in the car, the alternator. You got the starting system. You got so many systems in this car. You got the instrument panel cluster, the lights on the dash, all that, the beautiful dashboard, all of that. That has a system. The seat belts, the seats, the airbags, the windows, sunroof. It's so much stuff inside of a car that you can become a professional in. Sorry about that. That you can become a professional in that you probably haven't even thought of. And people need your people need your work. They need your service. But you got to know how to get your name out there in the proper way. This is the reason why I'm here, is to make this very short for you. So if you pay close attention to what I'm going to be telling you in my upcoming videos, believe me, it's guaranteed you are going to make top dollar. We want to take you from entry-level mechanic to expert. But if you are an entry-level mechanic, you still have the chance to become an expert. Why and how? Because you know that knowledge never stops. You're gonna have to crack the books, pick up the books, open up your computer, go to a library, do some research, look at how things work. Go to a library, read the GM manuals, read all the manuals, read the foreign vehicle manuals. Go and sit down, read these things. Go and get familiar with how things work. Sometimes, I mean, I'm not going to say sometimes, but a lot of times things work the same in certain kind of vehicles. Certain parts interchange with certain kind of cars. Once you start realizing that, then it'll make it a little bit easier for you to diagnose cars and do certain things. Okay, I'm making it easy for you. Don't sit there and take somebody's word all the time. Don't do that. Go and pick up the book and learn for yourself. You never know. Maybe one day you will become an advisor. You never know. It can be a guy that you're learning from, and you're only the apprentice, and he's just a parts changer. And that's how we become mechanics. That's how it happens. How does it happen? You were standing there you were standing somewhere one day, you saw somebody working on the car, you liked it. It was easy. That's how it starts. Okay? Nobody starts some technical genius. Nobody starts that. I mean, in the real world, I don't know about nobody else. Okay, I'm not criticizing nobody else, but that's how I started. I started out being a parts changer. And I still exchange parts when it's needed now. I just don't throw parts at a problem. I mean, I go and do some very in-depth diagnosis of a vehicle now. And that's a lot of things that you upcoming mechanics are going to have to learn. You're going to have to learn to do a good diagnostic of a vehicle. Number one, get a scan tool. Get a scan tool and get one with live data. If you get one with live data, you go down to your live data option, you press OK. You can see what those sensors and everything is doing in that vehicle while that car is running. So you can look at what's going on, how much pressure is in the manifold. Does it have a vacuum leak? Is the car running rich? Is it running lean? what's the temperature on the car, what's the mouth sensor reading. You can look at all those things. This is what I'm talking about. Mechanics know about what I'm talking about. Of course, this is all control system sensors, what I'm talking about. But I'm going to conclude this video, and we're going to have some more videos. In those videos, we are going to get a little bit more in depth. As I make more videos, we're going to get more in depth about, you know, what really, what is the message that I'm trying to give you. The message is that you can become a very, 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 very rich person being a mechanic. It depends on you and how much you want to work. That's what it is. You don't have to be hired by another company. You don't have to. You don't have to wait on something. You know what I mean by wait on something is the seniority. So right now you got entrepreneurship versus seniority, and that's part of the thing we're gonna get in our next video. It's gonna be entrepreneurship versus seniority. I'm gonna give you in-depth examples how when you first get hired at a dealership, you have no seniority, but the person that's been there for how many years, he has more seniority than you, and he's getting paid more than you. But you have entrepreneurship that's working for you, and nobody never told you that. Schools never teach you what entrepreneurship is. That is true freedom. Entrepreneurship versus seniority. Seniority. That's what we're going to get into the next video. And through me talking, you're going to pick up on what's going on, what's happening, because I need to explain it to you more than me just writing a book. I'd rather me make a video and me explain it to you and make it easy for you to pick it up and understand. I know I'm doing a lot of talking, a lot of making mistakes and everything, what I'm saying, pronunciating words, but I'm fixing myself, fixing what I'm saying, you know. But I hope I'm getting the message across. This video is not about me becoming a perfectionist in speaking vocabulary. This video is about me making you the entrepreneur that you can, the entrepreneur that you know you can become, make some good money, and you don't have to wait to work in somebody else's company for 2-3 years before they start recognizing the skills you already had when you walked in the door. So in the next video, we're going to be talking about being an entrepreneur versus seniority. There's two different things going on there. And one, you can go up fast, and the other one, you're going to go up slow. They both have their pros and their cons, but one is freedom and one is what you want to call a employee. Okay, so you got to make the choice. Me, I'm an entrepreneur. Well, of course, I'm not an employee, but I'm going to give you the pros and cons to both of them. So right now, we're going to conclude this video. It was nice talking to everybody out there. Have a good day, and enjoy it. Later.